obviously got to touch on your relationship with Ricky Gervais, because I think that's the first place I heard you was on his podcast. And I heard you talking about the Bible pod, which I went on to listen to. But yeah, how did that relationship come about?
I was just dumb luck. I mean, really, like a lot of show business, it's just I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Like we briefly had the same manager, and he was doing warm-ups. He was doing a lot of warm-up gigs for the Humanity Tour, which was his one before the one he's currently doing. And he would do them in sort of various sort of small venues around London with a couple other acts, all both coming on and doing 10 minutes, 15 minutes of new material. And on the day of one of those, one of the acts pulled out for whatever reason. They couldn't make it. And I just got drafted in because I was free and I was nearby. And I talked to, I met him, and, it was surreal. He's such I guess for people of our age, I mean, he was like so... It was, Yeah,
it's massive. I mean, all of my mates absolutely loved The Office. Were you the same?
It was like formative. It felt like it was such a pivotal part of my upbringing, was that show. Like it was so... and he became such a sort of giant. But then I met him, and he's just such a sound guy. He's so down to earth. He's so funny. We got on, and then a few months later, he was doing. Actually, this links to this podcast so well. I cannot believe I haven't thought of this story. He was doing David Brent live shows.
Yeah.
But the backing band is Razorlight.
I remember seeing the drummer, recognizing the drummer.
It's Andy Burrows.
Yeah.
Who wrote all the songs for like the David Brent film, and he still works on the music for Ricky's sitcoms and stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
Fuck, I mean, look at that. This is synergy.
That's a great segue. Maybe we can get him on.
They were like a class. Razorlight were they were right in the midst of this.
Oh yeah, big time.
Era of music.
They were like a band that people kind of love to hate, but kind of still listen to, weren't they?
Yeah, but they
felt like that.
But some of their songs, I mean, I guess they they had such good singles.
Yeah.
Touch in America. I mean, they couldn't argue with it.
No.
But anyway, usually it was Doc Brown would open for Ricky, but Doc Brown was in the show for the David Brent live show.
Right.
So he couldn't open for him. So I just got called in to open for him at these dates. And it was just, it was wild. And then I started being like the backup support for the Humanity Tour. And then on the current one, I'm the main support, and it's great. And he asked me to do stuff with him and put me in Afterlife for a scene. And yeah, he's a great guy, and it's,
yeah,
I got nothing. I mean, what else am I going to do? Of course, of course, I'll open for you in arenas around the world. I mean,
I was going to say you must have played some mad venues,
mate. It's some of it's crazy. The biggest one we did was on the Humanity Tour, which I didn't even do that many dates of. I opened the one in Denmark, in Copenhagen,
right?
And it was like 14,000.
Bloody hell.
15,000, but it was like a brand new venue. Like it was the venue had been open for 6 months. It's called the Royal Arena in Copenhagen, and it's it's incredible. It's like a freaking ice hockey arena. It's like so huge, and it was the best. I mean, it was one of the best gigs I've ever had. I mean, the crowd were incredible, and
yeah, I was going to say, how do the crowds differ like in different countries?
Oh, they're great. I mean, genuinely, overseas is usually easier because I guess it's just not as routine, And a lot of places Ricky goes, especially on this tour, it's been the first time he's ever been there. So, like, we did Paris, we did the Olympia, which is like this historic venue that like was set up by the guy who set up the Moulin Rouge, and there's been loads of like I think Pink Floyd recorded an album there or something like that. Right. And that was amazing. We went to Prague and all that. But I'll never forget that. And that one in Copenhagen, my girlfriend had moved back. I mean, this is pure storytelling, because before I told you she left, she ended up coming back to live with me in London. And she had just moved to London from Canada, and she'd seen me do stand-up once before. And it was in a leisure centre in Cumberton, which is like near Cambridge. and it was just dog shit. It was it was just awful.
Right.
And so I think when I would tell her that I was like a professional comedian, I think she sort of didn't really believe it. And so the second gig she ever saw me at was that gig in Copenhagen. And afterwards, they had this book, this massive leather-bound book, where everyone who plays the venue signs it.
Yeah.
And Ricky left the gig early. He always goes as soon as it's on. And so me and my girlfriend were just in his dressing room, drinking, looking through this book, and just like laughing at all the people. It was like I think Metallica had played there, and they had like the Harlem Globetrotters had signed it, and Shania Twain. It was pretty funny.